Before we start digging into the nuances of how this program works, it's worthwhile to take a bit more time to understand the workings of the interface. The reason I have this file open is simply to make sure the toolbars are visible. On a Mac with no file open, the toolbars are completely hidden, and even on Windows with no file open, many of the toolbar items are grayed out. So with this file open, we have full visibility and access to the toolbars. We'll start by looking at the task panel headings on the right-hand side, and we'll select the Tools heading to display the Tools pane on the right-hand side of the interface. Here we see the collapsible panels that we saw in the previous movie, and by opening each of these panels, we can see the various commands available within each section. For example, in the Content Editing section, we can see commands to add a bookmark to the file, to edit text and images, or to add a web link into our document. Under the Forms section, we see entries to create, edit, and distribute forms, and even more tools by clicking on the down arrow here. Notice how each of these panels, as it opens, collapses the adjacent panels in an accordion fashion. This is by design, but if you don't like this behavior, you can change it. Go to the flyout menu in the upper right corner, and you'll see the first option listed is to allow multiple panels open. In this case, even though we have the text recognition panel open, we can also open the content editing panel at the same time and see commands from both sections. There are additional hidden tool panels available with some of the more advanced commands. If you want to see these panels, you can simply check them in this flyout, and they'll be added to the Tools pane. Likewise, if the Tools pane has more sections than you'd like, you can also use this menu to hide the ones you don't need, removing the clutter and bringing them back only when you need them. Also in the Task panel on the right is the Comment panel with collapsible sections that behave the same way as we've seen. For example, here under Annotations, we have tools to add sticky notes, create highlighted text, or even to add an audio annotation, and we have other panels that work the same way. Notice that the Allow Multiple Panels Open option that we selected earlier is not in effect for the Comments panel. The Comments and Tools panel can be set independently. We're going to change the Tools panel back to disallow opening multiple panels. But this choice is an interface decision that you'll need to make for yourself. Across the top of the screen, we have the toolbars. At the top of the toolbar, we see the Create button, followed by several icons for the typical file commands: File Open, File Save, Send to the Cloud using Acrobat.com, Print, Sign, and even email a file. To the right of this, we see what is referred to as the Quick Tools toolbar. We'll take a closer look at Quick Tools in a moment, but first we're going to look at the bottom toolbar, called the Common Tools. Notice the bottom toolbar is pre-configured with many of your typical navigation commands: Previous and Next Page, Select Page Number, the cursor icons for selecting and panning, and the zoom icons. Additionally, we have some icons controlling the way the page fits on the screen. We can customize this toolbar by adding and removing icons. One way to do that is through the View menu. And under View, you might think we should look for something called Tools or Toolbar, but it's not the case. You want to go to the Show Hide selection, and under Show Hide, we have yet another submenu, Toolbar Items, under which all the commands are visible. However, there's a much easier way to get to this. If we right-click right here on the toolbar, we have instant access to the same submenu that we saw a moment ago. In here, we can simply choose a command to add it to the toolbar. For example, under Rotate View, we can choose Clockwise. Click that and it's immediately added to the toolbar. We can right-click, and this time by deselecting it, we can remove it from the toolbar. Notice many of the commands in these submenus are already checked, reflecting the existing items in the toolbar. Notice also that only the options from the File menu appear on the top toolbar. Everything else goes on the bottom toolbar. Last but not least, we have the Quick Tools at the top of the toolbar. Acrobat ships with 6 pre-configured Quick Tools: Sticky Note, Highlight Text, Delete Page, Rotate Page, Insert Page from File, and Edit Text or Images. But we can add any command from the Tools or the Comments pane directly into this Quick Tools panel simply by clicking on this gear icon at the left, Edit Current Toolset. When we click on this icon, we see the entire list of commands available in the Tools and the Comments panels. To add a tool to the Quick Tools toolbar, we simply expand the menu to find a tool that we want. In this case, we'll expand the Annotations section and select Strike-Through Text. We then click the up arrow to add it into the Quick Tools toolbar, and once it's up there with it highlighted, we can press the left and right arrows to move it around. We'll return to this menu and we'll add the Draw Cloud tool, and again we'll click the up arrow to bring it up to the toolbar, and notice that it appears right next to the selected icon. We can add a lot of tools to this toolbar, and in some cases they can get somewhat disorganized. And we have the ability to add separators to give us a visual cue. And to add a separator, we simply click this icon right here for the vertical divider bar, and it will go in where the highlight is. Now again, we can use the left and right arrows to position that divider wherever we need it, and in this case we'll use it to separate these commenting tools from these editing tools. To remove an item from the Quick Tools toolbar, we simply highlight it and then click on the trash can icon to remove it. Once we've configured the Quick Tools as desired, we click on Save, and we can see that the Quick Tools toolbar is now updated just as we've configured it. We have the option as well by right-clicking here to choose Reset Toolbars, and this will return the toolbars to the original out-of-the-box settings. New to Acrobat 11 is the ability to create a custom tool set. This is similar in many ways to creating a custom workspace in other applications. With a custom tool set, we can choose not only what tools appear in the Quick Tools toolbar, but also which tools appear in the tool pane itself. To see an example of that, we can switch to the Common Tool set that ships with Acrobat. We click up here on the Customize icon, and we choose Common Tools. Now notice the update to the tool panel here, and notice also the change in the Quick Tools above. Also notice that the title has changed from what was just Tools now to Common Tools. And here within this panel, we have customized tools specifically tailored to common jobs that we may need. You can create your own slimmed down tool sets and swap them out as needed for various tasks. Just click here on Customize and then click Create New Tool Set. We can start by adding a panel. We click this icon here and we'll call this panel Editing. Now here we have an interface similar to the one for customizing the Quick Tools. We can choose tools from the left, and we can add them to the right by clicking this right arrow icon. In fact, we can also add tools to the Quick toolbar at the same time by clicking the up arrow, so we have access to both. We can create a second panel, and we'll call this Commenting, and we'll add some annotation tools to this panel. We can create as many panels as we want, and we can even add informational sections such as you see here on the right. The customization options are endless. Once we have our custom tool set defined, we can save it. We'll call this one Demo Tools, and we'll click Save. And now we can see that our demo tools are loaded into the workspace, including the Quick Tool toolbar at the top. When we click on Customize, we can see that our demo tools are listed here along with the other custom tool sets, and we can click at any time on Default Tools to get back to the original tools that ship with Acrobat. We'll end this session with a quick warning. It's possible to hide both the toolbars and the menu, in which case you may find yourself without an interface and no way to get back. For example, we can right-click the toolbars and choose Hide Toolbars. We can also choose the View menu, and under Show Hide, we can choose Menu Bar. And at this point, we have no command interface, no menu, no toolbars. However, the keyboard shortcut F9 will toggle the menu visibility, and the keyboard shortcut F8 will toggle the toolbar visibility. Since there isn't a visible clue with the interface hidden, it might be a good idea to commit these to memory. Again, that's F9 to toggle the menu and F8 to toggle the toolbar.